to speak in just 3 words: Jack the Ripper. Why is this? Because Jack came along in the wet autumn of 1888 at a time when there were 24 newspapers fighting a vicious circulation war, and frankly, the newspapers couldn't believe their luck when this stuff came along. And that's what made Jack the world's first media mass murderer, here in the impoverished district of Whitechapel, on the edge of the City of London. But this is Petticoat Lane Market, Sunday in East London, an ancient London second-hand clothing market. Jack the Ripper was the name given by the newspapers of the day to an unknown psychopath who preyed on strolling prostitutes. Ha ha ha, catch me if you can. What a pretty necklace I gave her. The Victorian police were completely unprepared for a serial killer who'd take away body parts and return them attached to gloating letters. And there are 250 of these letters, but the Metropolitan Police have long suspected that most, if not all of them, were written by journalists getting into the jolly old spirit of the thing. Oi! You, what's the famous Petticoat Lane joke?
You can get your petticoat stolen at one end of the street and buy it back an hour later at the other end.
Ah, be off with you! And in Victorian times, women were so terrified they wouldn't even cross the road to post a letter, and practical jokers would hide in alleyways and leap out. Yeah! Oh, nice people, nice people. This very attractive 1960s multi-storey car park actually covers the site of Miller's Court, a long-vanished Victorian housing apartment. The site of the 5th and most horrific murder. Mary Kelly was not in her 40s. She was 25, pretty, popular, and she could afford to rent a room, not live in the communal life of a stinking doss house. Here, young man, for your troubles. Have you seen the Johnny Depp movie From Hell? Well, if you have, you must admit that Heather Graham makes the best-looking Victorian prostitute ever to grace a bonnet and an apron. She's not 45, she's still got her own teeth, hasn't had them punched out by some drunk or lost them through malnutrition, and she's not an alcoholic. Mary Kelly was last seen alive in the early hours of the 9th of November. A neighbour heard Mary singing, and then the neighbour fell asleep. 1 hour later, the neighbour woke up when her kitten jumped on her chest. Mary was no longer singing. The next day, the landlord came round to collect the rent, and to find to his horror that Jack had had enough time to leave bits of Mary Kelly all over the room. With that, Jack walked out of Mary Kelly's room into history. Slowly, the memory of his rampage sank into the bricks of old Whitechapel. But much good came of it. Police detection methods improved. Organisations like the Salvation Army, the League of Hope started in Whitechapel streets, and street lighting arrived. Jack